as you approach Peel, the right lane is blocked for construction. It's a long-term project here. As well, we have lane restrictions at King and Shaw. East and westbound came down to a single lane heading through Shaw for TTC track work. And there's no through traffic north or southbound because of the same project. So if you're on Shaw, you can't get through King because of this maintenance work. As well, John is closed north of King. That's for a broken water main. Yes, you can still hire the gardener to keep your yard green. No, you don't have to come near them. Look at all the things the gardener can do for your yard at hirethegardener.com.
Mexican volcanic stones grind our corn.
Your next report at 7:01, and with the extended forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
Yeah, Gordon's right. There's some pretty decent rainfall here across sort of the central and north sections of the GTA, heading south into the downtown core. This is going to be rain right through the night, coming through in a couple of waves, 4 to 8 millimeters in total. Drizzle to start off tomorrow morning at 6 degrees, and then a drier afternoon with some sun and 14 degrees the high.
It's going to rain all fucking night.
Is Wednesday night into Thursday morning, even mixing in some wet snow north of Highway 7. Yes, I said snow, and that's Thursday morning. The afternoon is mainly cloudy, windy, and 9. And then Thursday night into Friday morning now, we could be looking at some lake effect flurries here into the city. Very gusty winds up to 80 kilometers per hour. Friday's high, just 6 degrees. Tonight we're down to a low of 6 degrees. It is now 8 degrees at Pearson.
Ontario's doctors are working with government to provide the best possible advice about coronavirus. Take these 5 easy steps to protect yourself. 1. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. 2. Cough or sneeze into your sleeve. 3. Avoid touching your face. 4. Stay home when you're ill. And 5. Disinfect heavily touched surfaces. For more information, visit virusfacts.ca or ontario.ca/coronavirus. This message is brought to you by the Ontario Medical Association.
News is always changing. Now more than ever.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
This is City News.
Ask to play us on your smart speaker.
The Toronto man found guilty of killing a young woman he just met is looking to appeal his conviction. Kalen Schlater alleges in a notice of appeal that the judge's final instructions to the jury who determined his fate were unbalanced. He also alleges the judge erred in admitting the evidence of 2 undercover officers who testified at the trial. Schlater was found guilty last month of first-degree murder in the 2017 murder of Tess Ritchie and sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years. Mervis Productions is giving people a chance to see their name in lights now. It's asking all Torontonians to create new slogans that are inspirational and instructional during this pandemic. Some examples: keep calm and stay home. Our health is in your hands. Wash them frequently. Your vigilance, your patience, your resolution will keep us all safe. The best new slogans will be added to Mervish's social media platforms, website, and on the digital marquees of the Princess of Wales Theatre and the Ed Mervish Theatre. The author gets a $100 Mervish gift card, which can be used to buy tickets to future seasons. 2 winners will be chosen every Monday throughout the rest of April. Business is next.
680 News Time, 6:55.
As they just said black people are dying at a disproportionately higher rate of COVID.
With any of your drain, plumbing, or disinfection needs. Thank you for understanding as they take preventative measures to ensure everyone's health is a top priority. Contact them at rotorooter.com.
Here's some good news for a change. Pickle Barrel Catering is doing even more to keep the GTA well fed. Introducing real fresh family meals for 4. Get nutritious and definitely delicious meals for 4 delivered right to your door. Stuffed chicken supreme with roasted potatoes and green beans, slow-cooked beef brisket with garlic mash, salmon teriyaki with stir-fried veggies, and more, all starting at just $49.99. Plus, PickleBarrelCatering.com has free delivery. So stay home, stay safe, and let Pickle Barrel Catering take care of dinner.
680 News Time, 6:56.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Richard Southern.
Good evening. It's an unfortunate side effect of the pandemic. Dairy farmers across Ontario are dumping fresh milk literally right down the drain. Well, it's not that the likes of you and I are buying less milk from the grocery store. No, it has to do with some of the big players not buying as much. Schools and restaurants, of course, largely shut down, and chains like Tim Hortons that usually buy a ton of milk and cream are selling less coffee. So this has resulted in the dairy farmers of Ontario saying that they are disposing of some milk, something they call an extraordinary measure, though they say there is no danger that your local grocery store will run out of milk or cream. And by the way, the dairy farmers of Ontario share any of the lost costs because of this. Meantime, farmers across Canada are worried about crop loss due to foreign worker delays. Mandatory quarantines of seasonal workers.
In other words, they dumped the milk to raise the minimum price.
The fruit and vegetable crop. Here in Ontario, the asparagus crop is going to come in next month. And farmers say unless foreign workers start arriving by mid-April, they might have to leave a large amount of that asparagus in the ground. Same story with the fruit farmers. Stocks gave up a lot of their gains today. The TSX was higher, but only by 21 points at 13,614. What was a 937-point gain for the Dow turned into a 26-point loss. The Dow down about a tenth to 22,653. The S&P fell 4 points. The Nasdaq down 25. Investors watched oil drop some 9% late in the day and started selling stocks alongside that. The price of gasoline here in the GTA will rise a penny at midnight tonight, but according to Info International, we can look for a 3-cent drop for gas first thing Thursday morning. Canadian dollar rose. It was up to 71.41 cents U.S. Top stories coming up next on 680 News.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're talking about how much yard work you have to do in the spring.
Yeah, spring blows, particularly when you're using an Echo blower.
Coy carries Echo?
A full line of Echo handheld and backpack blowers. Perfect for moving everything from leaves to grass clippings to debris to standing water.
What about unwanted pests?
Yeah, stand over there and I'll show you.
I'm blown away with Echo at Coy Brothers, located where, Bill?
1919 Wilson Avenue, KOOYBROS.com.
And don't forget to bring your wallet.
In times like these, shouldn't your money work even harder for you? We think so. That's why at Duca Credit Union, you get no-fee checking accounts. You also get high interest on deposits and investments, and low mortgage rates. Plus, you get to share in the profits. That's the Duca difference. And now we're offering 2.5% interest on your savings until March 31st, 2021. Find out how at earnmore.duca.com. Do more, be more, achieve more with Duca Credit Union. Conditions apply.
First and fast.
Breaking news when it happens on 680 News. Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
At Walmart, it's not business as usual, but our commitment to everyday low prices remains. With hundreds of rollbacks in-store and online at walmart.ca to help you save money.
In Markham, rain and 13 degrees. Caledon, mostly overcast and 10 degrees. Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, overcast and 10. Hamilton, rain and 9. In Milton, mostly cloudy and 10 degrees. Mississauga, rain and 9 degrees. In downtown Toronto, we have a lot of rain coming down right now, and we're at 9 degrees. Tonight, we're going down to a low of 6 with some showers. Tomorrow morning, it'll be cloudy with a drizzle and 9 degrees. And then tomorrow, we're headed up to partly cloudy sky and a high of 14 degrees. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll have everything you need to know about the spread of COVID-19 in Toronto and Ontario today. And in Brampton, a cyclist has suffered life-threatening injuries after colliding with a transport truck. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 7 o'clock.
On for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are James Monroe and Slijana Tominson.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, April 7th.
Here's what's making news right now.
Thousands of masks delivered to Toronto's long-term care homes have been deemed substandard. An investigation now underway for possible COVID-19 exposures. Just under half of the COVID-19 related deaths in Ontario have been people in long-term care homes. NDP leader Andrea Horvath says more needs to be done
All of a sudden, I don't care about that. I want to know why they're all black.
It's a common scene around Toronto these days. Gloves and masks discarded on our streets.
This kind of behavior is not only frustrating, it is risky.
John
Disingenuous.
Tory calls it boneheaded conduct.
The Maple Leafs sign a free agent forward as the CFL pushes back the start of its regular season. Sports at 15.
Big gains for Wall Street evaporated and the TSX barely budged. Investors fret about oil, which plunged 9%. Business at 26.
680 News Time, 7:01.
Traffic and weather together. Some heavy rain in downtown Toronto. Here's Kyle.
Yeah, we are getting some pretty decent rain out there. This report brought to you by 407 ETR. We have, so far, not a whole lot lot of construction set up for the overnight because a lot of crews will be in holding patterns right now, just waiting to see what happens with the weather. We had a minor issue on the West 401 west to Markham Road collectors. Quickly clear away, still a vehicle gone there. Crews are in the process of setting up maintenance on the West 401 through Trafalgar Road. The right lane will be blocked there. At least that's the plan for now. However, you do have crews on the southbound 400 approaching Highway 89. 2 left lanes are blocked there. And Toronto-bound QEW over the Burlington Skyway, 2 left lanes closed. I don't anticipate a lot of construction for the overnight with that rain forecasted. We've also got maintenance on the highways. Nothing serious. John is closed north of Queen for a broken water main. Stretch of Kingston Road eastbound seeing single-lane maintenance through the Danforth for water main installation. 407 ETR would like to thank all the healthcare workers and essential services who are working tirelessly for our communities through difficult times. 407etr.com. Stay safe. Your next report at 7:11, and with the forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
We've got some light rain overnight tonight, anywhere from 4 to 8 millimeters expected before it tapers off to drizzle, and that drizzle will last through the first half of tomorrow, waking up to 6 degrees. Throughout the afternoon, we'll have a light southwest breeze, some sunny breaks, and a high of 14 degrees. Tonight, temperatures dropping to 6 degrees.
Heavy rain in downtown Toronto right now and 9 degrees. 680 News Time, 7:02.
We begin tonight with the latest on the spread of COVID. The city recalling tens of thousands of protective masks that were sent to workers in our long-term care homes.
Turns out they were not up to standards. 680's Michelle Mackey joins us live with the details. Michelle.
So, Janet, the city made the discovery after receiving reports of ripping and tearing. But Fire Chief Matthew Pegg says the masks have already been in circulation for 10 days.
On March 28th, 1,252 boxes, totaling 62,600 masks, were distributed to the city's long-term care homes.
The faulty masks are worth more than $200,000, and while the vendor has committed to the full refund, the loss represents 50% of the city's surgical mask inventory.
With the loss of those masks, we're estimating right now at the demand levels we've seen at the start of the week, with about a 2 to 3 week supply remaining.
As a result, the city has reached out to the provincial government to help expedite the new order. The city has also launched an investigation to determine if any employees in these long-term care homes were exposed to COVID-19. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
This is 680 News. So we used masks and gloves and garbage can not on the streets and in parks. That from leaders at both the municipal and provincial level today. 680's Phil Martino joins us live with that. Phil.
James, you don't hear the mayor using this kind of language often. John Tory calls throwing used gloves and masks onto our streets boneheaded conduct.
We're asking people to stop it. We're asking them to use the receptacles that are provided outside of hospitals and outside of food stores and to look after these.
And at every bus stop, most intersections.
At a time when we're trying to save lives, when we're trying to reduce risk, when we're trying to reduce the spread of this virus, this kind of behavior is not only frustrating, it is risky.
Another problem we're seeing in Toronto and right across the province is donation bins overflowing with donations. Premier Doug Ford is telling people to stop dropping off clothes and toys to those bins because the charities can't empty them right now.
People are using them, to clean up the garage. You start dumping everything in these boxes.
You're dumping garbage.
Please, they've asked me to mention, do not drop anything else off there because every box you go by just seems to be cluttered.
Those boxes are nothing but problems.
Items outside, they can't get
the white person's idea. We'll put
here in
the
Toronto,
donations
the mayor
in a
says
box,
the cleanup
and we'll
blitz
just
is
get them
underway
from the
to clean up around the clothing donation bins right across the city. Phil Martino, 680 News.
This is 680 News. Almost a month after COVID-19 was declared a pandemic, Ontario has managed to manufacture its own soon-to-be certified masks. 680's Mark Douglas joins us with the latest on this proud moment for the province.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford sounding downright optimistic in his daily news briefing. This after he picked up the first 1,000 medical masks made by Woodbridge Group in Vaughan.
But if you're going to, you might as well buy it local.
Looks like.
These are level 3 masks. They still have to be certified as good enough to be those highly coveted N95s. Ford also praising multiple other Ontario businesses and universities for making or donating personal protective equipment. Ford has promised to make Ontario self-sufficient when it comes to those supplies. And while he is still not committing to a specific timeline to keep that promise,
it's a better day than it was yesterday, and I think every day moving forward,
We don't want to
we're
import
getting
nothing.
more masks, more items in, more people and businesses producing the gowns, for instance, and the face shields.
Ford says getting surgical masks and N95s continue to be the greatest challenges for Ontario. I'm Mark Douglas.
Ontario is reporting another triple-digit batch of confirmed coronavirus cases. There's growing concern about the safety of residents in long-term care homes. 680's Irene Precklett.
The totals in the province are 4,726 confirmed cases, including 153 deaths. The number of outbreaks at long-term care homes has climbed to 51. There have been at least 69 COVID-19 related deaths of people who had been in those homes. And DP leader Andrea Horvath says long-term care is experiencing a perfect storm.
Abysmal understaffing, low pay, and employers that didn't want to give workers full-time hours was forcing staff to work in more than one facility, potentially bringing the virus from one long-term care home to another.
Among the changes, she is calling for additional staff as well as pay increases.
Management has to be university educated.
Stateside, New York State is reporting its deadliest day yet. 680's Cam Dort joins us with that.
Health officials say New York is just a day away from its pandemic peak, but it hardly feels like it after a new single-day record of 731 deaths. Governor Andrew Cuomo says physical distancing needs to stay in place.
This virus is very good at what it does, and it kills vulnerable people. And we can't stop that. The question is, are you saving everyone you can save?
The director of the CDC says people need to stay home, but the message wasn't received in Wisconsin, the only state to still hold its primary Tuesday. And with so many poll workers quitting, the state was forced to consolidate 180 stations into 5. You can imagine the lines of people. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump now considering cutting funding to the World Health Organization, claiming it focuses too much on helping China. I'm Cam Dorrit.
In other news, man's in hospital with life-threatening injuries after a collision in Brampton between a cyclist and an 18-wheeler. Peel Regional Police say it happened around 2:30 near Tompkin and Steeles. Truck driver remained on the scene. This constable says there's no word on charges.
We were told us right off the bat that it wasn't a situation of impaired control or anything like that. So right now it's mechanical testing, witness statements.
Constable says one thing investigators still need to figure out is whether the cyclist was moving through the intersection or standing still when struck by the truck. This is 680 News.
Trust 680 News for what you need to know on the coronavirus.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day on your radio.
680news.com.
The Radio Player Canada app.
Or ask to play 680 News on your smart speaker.
Could you use $20,000? $30,000? How about $300,000? Equity loan from Capital Direct. The money you need. The money you could really use right now is a simple phone call away. Compared to the banks these days, Capital Direct's lending criteria is not as strict.
Where the cash
Own property, Capital Direct.
Call them today at 1-800-800. This is the least amount of problem we've encountered.
The fuck is this shit, man?
Coming out the wood, I'm a tough motherfucker. Slumming with the sword, I'm a rough motherfucker. They don't wanna catch me at my best, but at my worst. And that's exactly why I gotta put them in the dirt. You should see us go to work.
Black people with 30% of the population, 70% of the deaths.
Drinking blood and question. Catch a charge with every verse. This who cheated kinda cursed. That TP across my shirt. Yeah, fuck the population, fuck your life and occupation. I'ma watch you run away, it look like immigration.
Same grubby sweater since high school. Drugs out the vial, on file, more screens and vials. Survival of the fittest, I'm a walking pandemic. Try to take on me and do the jogging man with it. What's a champion scene without some sadness up in it? I know the world is ours, I'm just having a minute. Another dead man walking with a casket incentive. It's either a bucket or a habit I'm kicking. Conscience roll caller, is it cast in auditions? If you notice I ain't present, it's cause the past isn't finished.
Coming for the throat of anyone that is my enemy. Listen, little bitch, bitch. This is not what I pretend to be. Send an army, send your troops, send them in with camo suits. Come and catch me, make me pay. Word boy till my dying day. Word boy till my dying day. Word boy being sealed away. Word boy after I decay. I'm a fucking misfit with his fucking wrist slit. Hit you with my fist, bitch. Bring you red like Christmas. Death is on my wish list.
The headphones ain't tangled and it's lost. Punk ass AirPods, if they ain't listening, it's their loss. No cat, no strings attached, fucking weird flaws. Down Jones crash, how we share flaws. Skip the empathy at my epitaph. Epithet, y'all my nemesis. Yeah, I said that with emphasis. Ain't no common ground or no common sense. Fuck your comments, that's the consequence when you on the fence. Kill it will, all my head is feral. I can't call them off. I can't call it dog. Shit, I'm probably wrong. Stay lifted and twisted like a fucking polygon. If you feeling froggy, get knocked back to a polywall.
Swear you'll see the black dove, so don't push no more. When it comes to push and shove, I'll put you through the floor. Someone come and catch some smoke. I swear you'll be the one that choke. When I'm fucking angry, bitch, I'ma wipe out all your hope. I'ma smoke your fucking dope, cut you up like cantaloupe. Send you to the North Pole, inside of an envelope. Bloody up my swords again. Demons always play pretend. Cut them up with just a pen. I'm something you can't comprehend. Against me you cannot defend. Pain and fear you can't prevent. I'll make sure you feel suspense. Put you under the cement. Put you in the ground for talking down to a nihilist. Taking all these chemicals, I feel like I'm a scientist. Breaking my appliances, anger with the sciences. That is what my style is, and evil is my stylist.
How you smoking Percy's and still Jackson the leather thief? If you like the green shit, go full circle like a reef. Ain't scary. Nixon, Katy Perry, St. Jerry, aviary. Then low, watch me blow, dead and buried. Revolutionary, a bit shaking very. The pen should make the paper move, both are stationary. Can't sleep in my bed since you was up in it. Got me fucked up, choosing tough love for the cynic. Basic ass women for a heart that's acidic. How am I supposed to judge if everyone's a critic?
As a little kid, I was in the kitchen watching work. Had the flyest kicks, I was never on no hurt shit. Had the flyest bitch, I couldn't fuck with no hurt shit. Heavy in gymnastics, cause I had to make that work quick. Touch niggas living me, fuck niggas kidding me. Break a arm and laugh in your face, like that's the kidding me. Dark clouds surrounding us, you can smell a pound of us. All my niggas came from the bottom, I mean the grounding up. I spot him like athlete in traffic, you couldn't pass me. Made my first wop before Drake got shot in the grassy. That's about the same time that Teddy got touched too. 2 days later I got brushed in the lunchroom. Day after that I came back with a pump that held too. Only takes one red gun, I cause hell too. And don't talk if a nigga gets caught too. Free HS. Free oxy, not apologetic. Why the fuck you think I shot you? Everyone's a blessing, so just watch you talk to.
When I pull up on your block, niggas know it's G-Lock. You know I send shots. Aim it at your cop. When I pull up at your spot, don't bother cop cops. When the niggas reckless, and the bullets won't stop. Yo, I'm a vibe on my enemies. Since I go today, I bet my dogs will remember me. Shooting out the centipedes after this Tennessee. Where to God, you cannot stop my energy. They know me for rolling on them late nights with them youngins trying to get our shit right. Rolling with that sick pipe. Fast SP, you know I got him. It's red lights on a motherfucker when I spot him. And this life you fucking up in commas. Niggas don't want no drama. I'm on the waistline and beating llama. Wait for my mama. Nigga, fuck I got to watch this shit, nigga. Yo, I like see with a girl shot. Yo, free out, nigga. One with him. My nigga see me lost in this bitch. Yo, my nigga stay food to this bitch. You know I see locked in his face, nigga. It's C-Dot, nigga. Cause it's shot, nigga. I don't let him fight C, nigga. You already know, man. Yo, P, I got hot for you, man. You know how we do this shit, man. Yeah. I'm up. One. I'm ready now. Rip this shit. Dog shit.
Yeah, feel my nigga, hold up, smoking fire shit. Feel my niggas, with the shit with some savages. Feel my nigga, stay with us some bad bitches. Always smoking no gas with us, roller papers don't pass. Listen, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Fuck with us, you went for a surprise. Everything we got, rolling up papers, you know how we get. Smoking no medical, each individual. Bad bitches additional, riding with us intentional. Just so you can see the visual, get it to me, run it to my gang. I wanna go shit. That shit we play space game. That shit be the mall. You don't walk, watch the street and never miss a baby lurking in the street. He coming, we coming, nigga. It's in the prophecy. Straight gas, yeah, the hands is unsuccessful. Nigga, come and get some gas, straight loud, nigga, never loud. Squad deep, team, we be on the scene, tripping, leaving food. All over you niggas sleeping, come on. I roll stuff like gas. They feeling my truck, my swag. Niggas are sick of their name, but let's be a pack trying to give me a bag. Gang tight on my chest, BBS diamonds on my neck. Only real running to my class. Other niggas running to my jack. So much with a real shit, the real music, and I'm in love with the real fans. My money is sick of these girls, just looking for the real swag. Get you a sack, look at the back, look at the number back. If you flex, you understand, the bitch is cash.
Almost 5,000 Canadian companies have stepped forward to help fight COVID-19. On behalf of all Canadians, thank you. Companies like Canada Goose, Stanfields, and many distilleries have altered their production lines to help create masks, gowns, and hand sanitizer when the country needs it the most. Trudeau says the federal government has also landed a deal with several medical companies to produce up to 30,000 ventilators, although he hopes we won't need that many. As Canadian companies step up to the plate, the Minister for Public Services and Procurement, Anita Anand, says the government's also continuing efforts to acquire equipment from international suppliers, and yesterday received a massive shipment from China.
We received roughly 8 million surgical masks.
Feds also say on the first day of processing claims for the new Canada Emergency Benefit, they received more than 960,000 applications. That's equivalent to the amount of applications the government usually sees in 6 months for employment insurance. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Here's a nice story. A restaurant in Vaughan, forced to shut down because of what's going on, has changed its product line. Perla Oyster Bar and Grills converted its restaurant floor into a hand sanitizer assembly line to keep the 10-member staff on the payroll. The owner has background in the detergent industry. Tells the Vaughan citizens goals to make 100,000 units in big and small jars.
Libraries, the food banks, the community centers, the medical centers now.
Are going
the
from
hotels are homeless
free
shelters.
for people who are 65 and
snap,
older.
snap,
Regular consumers can still go directly to the restaurant and buy the new product line. City of LA going after those who are charging too much for critical N95 masks.
Criminal charges are now being filed against 2 companies accused of inflating prices on crucial N95 masks. LA City Attorney Mike Fearer says there will be more cases to come.
Price gouging is literally unconscionable at this moment when there is so much fear in our communities and such demand for important products.
Fearer says his office is working with Amazon now to find third-party sellers who have inflated prices on needed supplies.
Just don't buy them.
ABC
Like,
News,
I don't
Los
understand
Angeles.
the problem.
Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
6 City News Time, 7:20.
So you went out drinking and you did the right thing. You left the car at home. Thank you. But did you know that if you drank a lot and stayed up late, you could still have alcohol in your system the next day and could register a warn, even a fail on a roadside screening device? It can take up to 12 hours or more from the time of your last drink for your BAC rating to not sleep, coffee, or shower sobers you up any faster.
Yo, check it. Yo. Don't give me 10 seconds to battle you back, bitch. I'll leave you in the casket, using my lips, cause I'm a verbal murderer. You heard of me before. Derelict, the one the sickest rappers keeping it in store. I'ma keep it on lock, my lip locks like a Glock. I pop shots out my tongue and I'ma leave your ass shot. I lacerate you, stop the throat from the mic cord. You wanna come at me, you claiming that you're hardcore. I battle rap and victimize you fucking whack MCs. So don't come at me cause I'm like a venereal disease. Leave you shaking like the clap from Eddie gonorrhea. You don't wanna fuck with the shit because I'll see you to your deathbed. Off the shit that I said, off the shit that I spit off my head. Leaving you a dread, locked like the hairstyle. While I stay so fire with my profile. I mean, I lock it up down with my cerebral. While all you and your people been acting like you're so evil. But you ain't bad at all. You need a slap across the jaw. Whack and roll, cause claiming shit that you ain't never done before. You're claiming that you grimy and gritty and hardcore and roll. But I think that you learned hardcore with care bands. And I don't care, man, cause I don't really play fair. I'm here to battle you. Start a cycle and spark. Or else I'm gonna have to jack you up and rob your pocket, rob your wallet. Don't know what you wanna call it, being a victimized gang. When this team is how we stalled it. Stalling on the streets and invading the homes and kicking out fucking doors and putting guns to the domes. I'm a hypocritical cat who used to stuff packs. Now I slang crack. No, I don't slang crack because I'm hypocritical because I said it was so bad. Now I'm sitting here and I'm acting so mad, but I'm oh so glad. At the same time, my brothers be making money.
We are not starving over here. Things are fucked up. This is Canada. You don't starve in Canada. Unless you're housebound. That's a different story.
Age of 12, like yo, let's get this cash up and get this cash up and take them out.
Seniors might go hungry.
Together and get the fakes out. The negativities of life are helping me focus on everything else, not the positive. So let's go on and just flow. I'ma keep it on the mic, just flow.
The day after Tuesday, going out with all these sick people popping everywhere and things. I'm sitting at home not eating. They're gonna sit at home and not eat. They'll ride it out.
I'ma keep it on the mic.
They'll drink tea and smoke cigarettes, whatever the fuck. They're like that here. This whole country's militant. You're watching the whole fucking country turn into a mobile army hospital, man. Just like MASH on TV. The whole fucking country. Let's say you make parkas? No, now you make gowns. No, we know we make gowns. We were gonna tell you. No, you make underwear? No, you make masks. No, we were about to tell you we make masks. But they don't want to sell us the masks? Don't worry, we'll make. We didn't know that was gonna happen, or we would have started last week.
I got so many rhymes strung through my brain. I wish it never stopped because it's driving me insane. What does it take to be numb? But what some people do it for pleasure, but I do it for fun. You know my rhymes are a little bit lyrical. I'm like a murderer killer that's coming out your cereal. It's like when you go trick-or-treating and shit, they put candy apples in your mouth, but it's really razors. And they cut you, put you on the ground bleeding, have you go into the hospital while your mama's screaming. Oh, that's right, that's what I said, bitch, because the fucking crazy guy on the corner wanted Joe instead. You're just an annoying little gangster. You think that you got shit, but you just a prankster. You know your rhymes, you can try and bring that shit, but me and Gang Green, we gotta hang with the bitch. You know we wear the green bags around our neck and shit, because that's the way we rap and that's how we down with it. So if you think that you gangsta son, come down to Avenue E and we'll have some fun. I'm number one. I'm number one.
Not saying I'm number one.
I'm number one.
Sorry, I lied. I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I'm number one. I be that numero uno, who you know that rocks with Sun Grace when he rockin' his flows. I do it for damn show, better than yo. Average cat, spitting these raps just like a gat. When I have to get to twisting it back, twisting your cap, leaving your rap 7 cause you're so verbally back. Matter of fact, your whole squad can't stack to mine. Gang Green with mine, so hard to find. Divine, like intervention to save a life. But I'm the damn vision you see late at night, like seeing Christ. Ain't saying blasphemous, my verse type of sight. But I'm telling you
you jam. I'm so good when rocking the mic. Put me in a cipher and I'll leave every rapper who drop it. Able to override any type of syllable flow or any topic. Especially when I tell black rappers stop it. I mean it. I'll make it just drop pop your optic. Out of your head, out of your brain. I told you before, I'm the one running this rap. I'm number one. I'm number one. I'm number one. I'm number one. I pop syllables off for fun. These whack rap cats that think they run shit can get caught in sand traps. I'm clacking the meanest scats. So all these guys can fall flat. I'm laying the tap. I hate the way that they look at.
Yeah, you know how to rate a black guy. Dang.
This one, man. A murder team. Hey.
Murder team.
Back in the day when a nigga had his burner, all these fake niggas acting like a dick cooks. Yeah, fucking like I let it rip, it won't be a first. Yeah, in the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk. Yeah, back in the day when a nigga had his burner, all these fake niggas acting like a dick cooks. Yeah, fucking like I let it rip, it won't be a first. Yeah, in the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk. Yeah, all these fake niggas holler when I'm up. No, when I start in my help, I don't give a fuck. Call me on, pick it up, start my life has been rough. Niggas think it won't shoot now, bitch, call my bluff. I'm chopping, I'm getting real hot. Dirty strap for the clean, squirt like a cop. Extended clip with the hollows, that's in my glove. It's outside, read your part, that's where I rock. Outside, that's where I rock. Extended clip, hang the Glock. Dirty strap, cleans like I'm up. Hey. Coming out with the lava. Hey. Back in the day when a nigga had his burner, all these fake niggas acting like I didn't good. Cock up like I let it rip, it won't be a first. Shot in the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk. Back in the day when a nigga had his burner, all these fake niggas acting like I didn't good. Cock up like I let it rip, it won't be a first. In the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk. One day nigga gon' be rich with my dog. I'm gonna get her in a big crib. I don't check a fucking basketball, never fucking capture in that bag, nigga. I'ma do a couple laps. Stacking, I'm getting that guap. And nigga talk to us like you ain't really hot. City last week, nigga see me get stopped. Why the fuck you acting like you ready on a block? You ain't on a block, he be talking to the cops trying to get me knocked deep. Kicked in the door looking for a gun. Lame ass niggas, you already bums. Go to bed hungry, nigga, are you fucking dumb? Chase that nigga down the block, I made a fucking run. Always been about the shit since I was really young. Kicking doors, stuffing niggas just for the fun. Southside, Richard Park, that's right the day when a nigga had his burner. All these fake niggas acting like a dick. Yeah, fucking like I let it rip, it won't be a first. Yeah, in the love with my gun, niggas know I lurk. Back in the day when a nigga had his burner, all these fake niggas acting like a dick. Yeah, fucking like I let it rip, it won't be a first. In the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk.
It's a good time to sign up. Set your own schedule and get 24-hour access to our certified teachers. Some courses can be completed in
certified by who?
Learn more at OntarioVirtualSchool.ca. Regional conditions marking light rain, 11 degrees, Aurora light rain, and 12 degrees. We have rain in downtown Toronto, and it's 8 degrees. I'm James Monroe.
I'm Sljana Tominzik, 680 News Time, 7:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Caitlin Lee.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, April the 7th.
Here's what's making news right now.
For Toronto's long-term care homes have been recalled.
The mass order did not meet the city standards and specs.
They were distributed 10 days ago.
Hundreds of complaints, 12 tickets. The city cracking down on people who refuse to physically distance. Mayor John Tory says he can't believe that at a time that we're trying to save lives, people are discarding used gloves and masks on our streets.
It's particularly wrong and risky at a time like this.
He says it needs to stop.
Health experts say the pandemic is starting to peak stateside despite almost 1,000 new deaths between New York and New Jersey in just 24 hours.
Explode tomorrow.
Maple Leafs GM Kyle Dubas adds a skilled Russian forward via free agency.
Thousands of cops, thousands of healthcare workers all fucking
positive for the coronavirus. Sports at 45.
From leaving asparagus in the ground to pouring fresh milk down the drain, we're looking at the challenges facing Ontario's farmers. Markets faced a challenge late in the day. Gains evaporated. The Dow fell 26 points. Business at 56.
Time 7:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Good evening, Kyle Hawking.
Good evening. This report brought to you by Trillium Health Partners Foundation. Most of the overnight construction being kept at bay by the rain that we've been seeing so far, which is forecast to continue on throughout the evening hours. So we'll see how much overnight construction is in fact set up. We do have a spot just going in on the Toronto-bound QEW, heading over the Burlington Skyway. It'll be 2 left lanes blocked once they finish setting up all the pylons. Right now, they're just working their way on the upside of the Skyway. We have as well on the westbound 401, 2 spots so far. Through Mississauga Road, the left lane is blocked. And through Trafalgar, the right lane is closed as well. And then we've got southbound 400 maintenance as you approach Highway 89. Just a single lane open here. 2 left lanes are blocked, so only the right lane is getting past this construction zone. Nothing so far having any impact on the speeds, and that's it for the construction. Biggest concern is that rain, so just adjust your driving according to those changing road conditions. Off the highways, nothing serious. Expect lane restrictions eastbound Kingston Road through Danforth, though. That's a single lane for water main installation. Trillium Health Partners frontline healthcare workers are helping our community fight COVID-19. They need you to join the fight. Donate at trilliumgiving.ca. All donations will be matched. Give now. Your next report at 7:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
4 to 8 millimeters of rain tonight. By tomorrow morning, it'll taper to drizzle, so still very damp conditions to start off as we wake up to 6 degrees. The afternoon will have some sunny breaks, a southwest light breeze, and a high of 14 degrees. Tonight, we're dropping to a low of 6 degrees.
Right now, downtown, light rain and 9 degrees. 680 news time, 7:33.
Tens of thousands of faulty surgical masks are being recalled by the city of Toronto. The equipment distributed to long-term care homes, places that have already been hard hit by COVID-19.
680's Michelle Mackey joins us live with those details. Michelle.
Scott, the city of Toronto made the discovery following reports of ripping and tearing. Fire Chief Matthew Pegg says the masks were immediately recalled.
Late yesterday afternoon, the city of Toronto discovered that we had purchased more than $200,000 worth of surgical masks that do not meet the specifications the city requires.
This equates to more than 62,000 masks distributed to Toronto's long-term care homes 10 days ago. The city's occupational health and safety team is now investigating
to determine how many employees may have used these masks and if there was possible exposure to COVID-19 as a result.
Chief Pegg assures that the city will implement new stringent quality control reviews of any new masks purchased, but the loss represents 50% of the city's stockpile. As a result, the city has a 2 to 3 week supply of surgical masks left until a new order can arrive.
Alberta's got a month.
The government has been contacted to help expedite the delivery. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
We'll come out your house and we'll
680
talk
news time at 7:34. Ontario has seen 153 deaths from coronavirus so far, and at least 69 of those have been at long-term care homes. There have also been at least 51 outbreaks reported. NDP leader Andrea Horvath says the government needs to do more right away.
Aggressively recruiting home care and long-term care staff.
I don't see how that's going to help.
Be scheduled on each shift in each long-term care home. Immediately increasing salaries for staff to a minimum of $22 per hour.
I'm slightly confused.
She also wants to limit
issue.
the number of facilities a person can work at to just one,
what they
so
make.
the virus cannot spread as easily.
Right now.
680 news time, 7:35. A ball hockey game, a large gathering at an off-leash dog park, and a group of 40 people at Stan Wadlow Skate Park. Those were just a few examples, rather, of people not staying at home and not physically distancing yesterday. The city getting 385 complaints. Officers speaking with around 848 people and handing out 12 tickets for people not physically distancing. It's the largest number of tickets handed out in a single day since the start of the pandemic. There were also 55 complaints for non-essential businesses that are still operating and 34 businesses that were issued a notice of non-compliance.
And yeah, it's not enough the city's dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. It's also dealing with a lot of bad behavior. The city getting a lot of complaints about discarded gloves and masks outside hospitals and supermarkets. 680's Phil Martino joins us live with more on that story. Phil.
Caitlin,
Mayor Joe Torre says at a time when we're trying to save lives and reduce risk, this kind of behavior is risky to the health of others.
And by the way, the fine for littering, I hate to talk about this kind of stuff all the time, but the fine for littering in Toronto is $500. And I think anyone who continues to do this would richly deserve that and more.
I knew you shouldn't litter. I didn't know what the fine amount was because we'd all flush it on the ground.
Some illegal dumping going on as well.
Now I think it's the time for residents to help out by not dropping donations at these bins. I admire and I thank you for the fact that you care about your fellow citizens and make these donations.
They don't care. They're dumping out garbage.
At the bins, and the city is in no position to see those donations except.
Now, the city has organized a blitz to get those areas around the bins cleaned up right across Toronto. Phil Martino, 680 News.
Yeah, every time I say we're going to take care of something, they jump on it.
7:37. A facility in Woodbridge producing its first 1,000 masks as Ontario wants to fill an enormous need. 680's Mark Douglas has the latest on the Made in Ontario solution. When it comes to fighting the spread of COVID-19, the Premier of Ontario is praising Made in Ontario solutions.
I personally picked up the first batch of medical masks made right here in Ontario by Woodbridge Group. These masks will be made here in the millions.
Those masks made in Vaughan still need to be certified as N95 level masks, the kind that recently saw the US, Canada, and 3M getting into a spat at the border. Premier Doug Ford says while he's happy the 3M issue has been resolved, he still says we cannot rely on other countries.
We need to look after ourselves.
But Ford will not commit to a timeline for making Ontario self-sufficient for COVID-19 supplies as he had promised. But he says today is better than yesterday.
The sheer volume, it's amazing how the people and the businesses in this community in Ontario have just stepped up.
I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Time 7:38. It was the deadliest day so far in New York State, but there are signs the curve may be flattening. Here's 680's Cam Dorrit.
731 new deaths were reported in New York State since Monday morning, and next door, the results just as grim. New Jersey reported its worst day on record with 232 deaths, prompting Governor Phil Murphy to extend the public health emergency another 30 days.
Our sole mission right now is the health of every New Jersey family, and we must not just flatten this curve, we must crush this curve.
The CDC says physical distancing is working, but Wisconsin chose not to heed that advice. Despite 180 polling stations being reduced to 5 thanks to the pandemic, thousands of people still showed up to cast their vote Tuesday. And now U.S. President Donald Trump taking more heat after a memo surfaced showing the White House was warned about COVID-19 turning into a pandemic back in January. I'm Cam Dorrit.
By Canada, right?
8 million
masks
arrived from China to Canada yesterday, and more deliveries are expected in the coming days. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland says a shipment of 500,000 masks from Minnesota-based 3M that's been stuck at the border is due here tomorrow. The government also working with other American suppliers. She says she has a diplomatic but blunt message for the Trump administration.
We are working collaboratively with our American partners to be sure that those shipments also can make it to Canada, just as our American partners are working collaboratively with Canada to ensure that the medical supplies and services that the United States depends on from Canada can continue to flow to the United States.
Canada has sourced more than 230 million surgical masks, and more than 60 million have been delivered to date.
680 News Time 7:39.
The Government of Canada and public health experts are taking action to protect Canadians from COVID-19. Protect yourself and others, especially those with medical conditions and older adults. Wash your hands often. Avoid touching your face. Cough or sneeze into your arm and disinfect surfaces. You should also avoid crowded places. Avoid all non-essential travel. And if you're sick, stay home. To learn more, visit canada.ca/coronavirus. A message from the Government of Canada.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. ENPRO predicts the price will rise 1 cent at midnight to 79.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather is next.
680 News Time 7:40.
Of course, you always want to be there for your parents and grandparents, but when you can't be right there with them, Direct Alert by TELUS Health can be. This personal emergency response service gives your loved ones access to 24/7 support at the push of a button, and knowing they're taken care of takes some of the worry away. Direct Alert by TELUS Health is simple to install yourself, ships directly to you, and starts at $25 a month. Right now, you can save up to $180 a year on select plans. Visit directalert.ca for details.
At Visions Electronics, your safety is our #1 priority. But we're still committed to saving you money on electronics. During our inventory sell-off, get what you and your family needs to work, learn, and entertain at an even lower price. With increased savings in every department. With up to 12 months to pay and no interest. Shop online at visions.ca and have it delivered. Or call the store, ask some questions, set up an easy curbside pickup. Visions Electronics. Keeping homes connected all across Canada.
Why are electronic stores allowed to operate?
680 news time, 741.
Time for traffic and weather
Car
together
washes
on
aren't.
the ones. Here is Kyle Hawking.
This report is brought to you by Subaru Canada. We've got just a bit of construction set up here and there on the highways. Some of it being kept at bay because of the rain that has been falling across the GTA. One spot that's not falling at the moment is Toronto-bound QBW over the Burlington Skyway. 2 left lanes being blocked off right now. Crews are still working their way up the upside of the Skyway, blocking these 2 left lanes. They're slowly setting down the cones and continuing on. Not much rain falling out this way right now. It's pretty dry, thankfully, for these crews, but just watch out for them. No delay either. We do have construction set up on the westbound 401 as well. Through Mississauga Road, the left lane is blocked, and through Trafalgar, the right lane is closed. And then one more spot in the southbound 400 approaching Highway 89. 2 left lanes are closed there as well. All in all, your drive pretty good across the city at the moment. And we've got off the highways lane restrictions through King and Shaw, north and southbound. There's no through traffic. Shaw trying to get through King because of TTC track work. And King itself is down to a single lane heading through Shaw, all because of the same project as well. John is also closed north of Queen due to a broken water main. Ontario Subaru dealerships are standing by and ready to help with your essential automotive needs. Keep taking care of each other, and Subaru will take care of you. Your next report at 7:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Light rain tonight, 4 to 8 millimeters, tapering to drizzle for the morning. 6 degrees is your wake-up temperature. 14 degrees through the afternoon. Looks like it is going to be still damp through until about 2-3 p.m. That's when we'll get into some sunny breaks. Another round of rain Wednesday night into Thursday morning. This one again fairly light, but with temperatures cooling, we could see some wet snow north of Highway 7 early Thursday. The afternoon is mainly cloudy, windy out of the northwest and a high of 9. And then another round of potential flurries headed our way by Friday morning. Tonight we're down to a low of 6 degrees.
Downtown Toronto, right now we've got a little bit of light rain continuing to fall. 9 degrees over at Pearson, mostly cloudy. Also a little bit of light rain and 8 degrees. 680 news time, 7:43.
Construction has started on a pandemic response unit on the grounds of Trillium Health's Mississauga Hospital. It's a modular unit that will increase capacity for a potential influx of positive COVID-19 patients that the hospital anticipates they may be admitting in the weeks ahead. It can hold up to 80-plus patients and is expected to be ready to go by the end of this week. Trillium Health says it has the ability to build 2 more pandemic response units if needed. This is 680 News.
As a homeowner, you have built up equity value in your home. With Capital Direct, equity equals flexibility for homeowners.